Excavators in Shallalat Gardens, one of Alexandria's public parks, are finishing up another exhausting day. Their dig has gone on for 3 years. Still, they have no end in sight, and their search is seemingly destined to be fruitless. Perhaps they will never find the Egyptian tomb of the legendary conqueror Alexander the Great. Excavators in Egypt have uncovered new clues to the long-lost tomb of Alexander the Great. But the lead archaeologist of the dig, Limnios Papacosta, is sure that Alexander's tomb is somewhere under the park. The area is where ancient Greek historian Strabo indicated that it would be found, somewhere in the space between the palace of Ptolemy and Alexandria's ancient high street, Canopian Street. So this is where she has directed the dig. However, Papacosta's patience with the exacting work of digging beneath the park has come to an end. On this May Day, the Greek archaeologist feels ready to give up on the site and bring the excavation to a close. Nothing that the excavators have turned up has confirmed that they are anywhere near Alexander's tomb. Then someone catches Papacosta's attention. It's one of her assistants from the Hellenic Research Institute of Alexandrian Civilization, RIAC, which she leads, and she is asking Papacosta to take a look at something that she has uncovered. And when she realizes what it is, she knows that she may have been right all along. In the city of Pella, in what is now Greece, Philip II, the king of Macedonia, welcomed a son in 356 BC. Whatever plans he had for Alexander, he could not have imagined what the boy would go on to achieve. On taking the throne 20 years later, the young king started to spread Macedonian power throughout Greece, Asia and even Africa. Within a dozen years, Alexander had smashed everyone who opposed his dream of a unified Greek world. Backed by his staunchly loyal troops, he conquered the Persians and Egyptians among others. His reign was cut short by his early demise, but the powerful impression that he had made proved lasting enough to bring about a new era in history. The Hellenistic period. Notably, Alexander took Greek culture into new areas, sometimes in the form of emigrants from the Greek homeland. As part of the spread of Hellenism, he created many cities that would carry his name. Among them was the Alexandria that grew to be the capital of Egypt and today still ranks second among that country's cities. The all-conquering emperor met his end in mysterious circumstances in 323 BC. Only 32, in the city of Babylon he sickened and died after enjoying a drink of wine. However, although ancient sources tended to believe that he had been poisoned, they didn't agree on who might have done it, and later studies have suggested that he may have passed away from a disease. Whatever the truth of his end, naturally a man of his stature had to have a splendid burial, although he had not wanted it to be in Macedonia. Apparently, he had a kinship with Egypt, and he was its pharaoh at the time, so his body was transformed into a mummy. Historical accounts say it was placed into a coffin of gold and shipped to Suwa in Egypt. However, one of his former henchmen, Ptolemy Soter, carried out a hijack in Syria and redirected the body to Memphis. It seems that he saw it as a symbol of Alexander's power, since other generals had snatched his jewels and armor. Some years later, Ptolemy Philadelphus moved the body to Alexandria to inter it there. Alexander found his new resting place in the communal mausoleum. The historian Pausanias says that this place was dubbed Soma, the Greek word for body. The conqueror's burial in Alexandria became common knowledge by the 270s BC. As a consequence, his tomb became the focus of a cult centered on him. Certainly, the tomb proved a draw. Documents show that some of the celebrities of the ancient world visited, among them the Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra, and the dictator of Rome, Julius Caesar. More than one Roman emperor would also make the trip to Alexandria, the last of them that we know of being Caracalla in 215 AD. However, although people showed reverence for Alexander's tomb, the natural world did not, and it offered varying perils. The city of Alexandria fell victim to a tsunami in 356. Earthquakes also threatened the city, and over the centuries several large tremors have caused it tremendous damage. But nature has worse in store. You see, Alexandria is right on the coast of Egypt. And its millions of inhabitants face the threat of a rise in the level of the sea, provoked by climate change. With the Mediterranean expected to rise by at least a foot, and perhaps by as much as a yard within the 21st century, seawater may drive out whole communities. Some may dispute whether climate change will have such a massive impact on the city. However, when Reuters asked one man, Ibrahim, a supermarket manager, about it in 2010, he had no doubts. He said, "There were beaches I used to go to in my lifetime, now those beaches are gone." Is that not proof enough? If that wasn't bad enough, the city's ancient section has been sinking. Although it has only subsided by 1/10 of an inch every year, that amounts to about 12 feet in the time since Alexander. This hasn't been enough to stop people from creating homes and businesses on top of the ancient area, though. One consequence of that pattern of construction and population growth has been that the old foundations of the city have disappeared. Now no one is sure about where some things are, among them the tomb of Alexander. Although the ancients did give details of its location, it's hard to precisely identify in the modern city. On top of that, war has repeatedly ravaged the city. The tomb may well have fallen prey to robbery in one of the many attacks that Alexandria has suffered. Also, Christianity may have contributed to a bad outcome, as in the 5th century its followers had started to battle other religions. It's not impossible that they caused the tomb's destruction. So it's fair to say that the tomb's location, if, indeed, it even still exists, is a mystery. And that makes it one of archaeology's great prizes, perhaps the equivalent in prestige to the discovery of Tutankhamun's last resting place. Dozens of excavations have tried to uncover the tomb, but none has yet succeeded. In fact, Egypt's head body for archaeology has noted that the great warrior's tomb has been the focus of a search at least 140 times. In 1960, Polish excavators started to dig in Alexandria's downtown at Kom el Dika, and at the time of writing in 2019, they were still there. Despite many finds, particularly ones of Roman origin, they haven't yet uncovered Alexander's tomb. Near to the Poles, at the Mosque of Nebi Daniel, an Arabic team started to dig in 1991. The theory is that Arabic sources say that the mosque and the tomb are in the same place. However, that excavation didn't prove popular with the head academic at the University of Alexandria, who said he's already looked there. Those in charge of running the mosque, fearing damage to its structure, later managed to get the dig shut down. Slightly less scientific were the two bids to find the tomb carried out by a pair of Greeks. In 1989, one of them, Leonie Savaltsi, dug at a temple in the Siwa Oasis, nowhere near Alexandria. She claimed that the tomb must be there, but her view didn't gain a great deal of support. Another Greek, Stelio Komatsos, dug all around Alexandria in his time off from a waiting job, but no one knows what exactly, if anything, he found. Another Greek interested in Alexander's tomb, albeit this time a professional archaeologist, is Kalliopolimnios Papacosta. By 2019, Papacosta had spent more than 2 decades searching for the tomb in Alexandria. She told National Geographic magazine in that year, "I have a dream and I will go on until I fulfill it." In June 2000, Papacosta had surveyed the old Jewish cemetery, which lies near to Shallalat Gardens in central Alexandria. She believed that the cemetery had been built over the royal district of the ancient city, where the Soma could be found. However, although a ground survey was promising, she could not dig in the cemetery itself. Papacosta's focus consequently shifted to Shallalat Gardens. These are parklands that sit in place of the old walls of Alexandria. But her work there had been proving fruitless until the fateful day in May 2009, when her assistant called her over to look at something she had found when some earth had shifted inside the excavation. Suddenly, everything about the dig had changed, and Papacosta could feel herself becoming more hopeful. That was because the slip page of earth had revealed a bit of white marble. She told National Geographic in 2019 what had gone through her mind. "I was praying. I hoped that it was not just a piece of marble," she said. As it turned out, it wasn't just any piece of marble. When they had finally uncovered all of it, the team found that they had discovered a statue from the early Hellenistic period. And it wasn't just any statue. It had all the distinctive features that you'd expect from a likeness of Alexander. As the statue came to light, Papacosta felt excitement mounting. Shortly after the discovery, she said, "The statue revealed himself to me, offering his hand. I prayed to God to see the way the hand turned, to know if it carries a spear, to prove that it belongs to Alexander the Great, the spear bearer, created with the same technique of Lysippos, that is, with a tilted head to the side and down." The angle of the head was crucial because apparently this is how Alexander used to converse with Zeus. He'd look at the earth which was his to rule, leaving Olympus to the Greek god. On top of that, the statue showed a man wearing a diadem, crown, of the type Alexander favored. Finding the statue was a massive relief to Papacosta. It indicated that she might be on the right track to find the tomb. And she admitted to a bit of national pride. She said, "It is a great blessing that this statue, which many archaeologists searched for many years, was found by a Greek mission." The statue now takes pride of place in the National Museum of Alexandria. It's agreed that the beautiful object really is a depiction of the great conqueror. While it's not certain who made it, given its dating to the late 4th century BC, it may be the work of the school of Lysippos, who was the only person whom Alexander trusted to sculpt him. The discovery truly gave new life to Papacosta's dig. She powered on with excavating Shallalat Gardens so that by 2019 she had delved 35 feet beneath today's city. And there she made a breathtaking discovery. As she had hoped, the ancient royal quarter does indeed lie beneath the park, and for the first time in centuries, ancient Alexandria saw the open air. The National Geographic Society's archaeologist in residence Frederick Hebert shared his amazement at this find with National Geographic. He said, "This is the first time the original foundations of Alexandria have been found." And he added, "It gave me goosebumps to see it." Naturally, Papakostov is not stopping here. As well as old maps and the words of ancient historians, she has deployed more up-to-date methods to help her explore the area further. The technology that she uses includes electrical resistivity tomography, ERT, which sends an electrical current into the earth to show the positions of objects under the surface via differing levels of resistance. Up to 2019, surveys with ERT had indicated as many as 14 potential structures to Papakostov's excavation team. Armed with ERT outcomes as a roadmap, the team knew where to dig. And some of the things that they have found have been truly intriguing. In 2018, a major part of the team's work was to uncover a Ptolemy-era building that had been repurposed by Romans. On top of that, Papakostov has found a Roman road. And that's not all. The ruins of a huge building are hinted at, perhaps hiding the answer to her foremost question. Yes, this might be the place where she may eventually find the tomb of the conqueror. But this won't become clear without more grueling work. What has made the dig harder is that Papakostov has hit waterlogged territory. She has had to set up pumps to dry it out enough to enable the dig to continue. However, it has proved worth the effort. She told National Geographic, "I'm happy that I did not give up when I first arrived at the water table. I was insistent and continued. I go on." That doggedness has earned Papakostov the admiration of Hebert. He said, "It's rare in my experience to find someone who's stayed at a single site for 21 years. Indeed, he likens her to a boxer who might be knocked down, but gets back to her feet." He said, "She goes the full 9 rounds." Papakostov has kept her eyes on the prize, although she acknowledges that the tomb could yet prove elusive. She shared her confidence with National Geographic, saying, "For sure, it's not easy to find it. But for sure, I am in the center of Alexandria in the royal quarter, and all these possibilities are in my favor." British archaeologist D.G. Hogarth once said of Alexandria that there was nothing to hope for in the city. He said, "You classical archaeologists, who have found so much in Greece or in Asia Minor, forget this city." But Papakostov is proving him wrong. Her discovery of one piece of marble has led her to uncover ancient foundations that may yet contain the tomb of the great conqueror Alexander. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.